In the last 48 hours, Republican congressional members have destroyed our nation. They've done so much damage in just 48 hours. Here's a list of the 5 most dangerous and harmful things that they have done to our nation in Congress in just the last 48 hours. Number 1, they passed their budget plan, which will add trillions to the national debt and cuts almost $1 trillion in health care. Where's all that money going to go? It goes away to the wealthiest people. Tax breaks. Number 2, they passed the SAVE Act, another law that's going to make it harder for you to vote. Millions and millions of Americans are going to be affected by this new bill when it comes to their voice and voting in America. Instead of making it easier for people to register to vote, they have made it harder for people to register to vote, especially if you're a woman. If your birth certificate is different than your driver's license or ID because you got married, you're not going to be able to register to vote. And they did this to affect people who were trans. They didn't do this to affect women. Or maybe they did because they would like it to be like The Handmaid's Tale. It also made it harder for people in the military serving abroad. They don't care about our military. They're just expendable kids that are out there fighting wars for us. Here's number 3. Amongst all the chaos and the stock market plummeting, they literally passed a bill, that endorses these tariffs. The bill also strips Congress's power to bring in or rein in the president when it comes to these tariffs. He is the final authority, even though there's 3 branches of government that's supposed to keep us checked and balanced. Here's the biggest one. Number 4, they passed a bill stripping the authority of federal judges that go against the president. Since they've all been ruling against Trump and his unconstitutional executive orders, what this bill does is undermine federal judges. So now we are no longer a constitutional nation. One branch of our government has been reined in so far, so close to the president, and he can do whatever he wants with them. You telling me this isn't an authoritarian type of government? That's not a dictator and this isn't fascism? This literally strips the judges from being able to make any decisions on a federal level. They're claiming that their jurisdiction only lies within the state or the city or whatever jurisdiction that they live inside of. But the federal court's jurisdiction is the entire nation. They rule on things federally, not on a state level, not on a local level. They have state Supreme Courts for that. This is not how things work in this country. They have taken everything that fights against the federal government and defunded it, including the Department of Education. And that fights the federal government from telling us lies about our history and any other things that they want to lie to us about with current events, because you're being taught what's going on and what happened in our past. Without that, that means that we can't rein in the federal government ourselves as people by calling them on their bullshit, because we won't know what history is or what's happening in current events because it has all been defunded. Number 5 is just cruel. They passed a bill to jack up overdraft fees. Why would they jack up overdraft fees for the lower class? Those are the people who need those, but yet you're giving tax breaks to your wealthy friends. What the fuck is going on? Just completely eliminated the cap on overdraft fees. Why? I'll tell you why. For the exact same reason they passed this new budget, so the people at the top can make more money while we continue to be their slaves. The only way to stop this is to get a few Republicans in the Senate to be on our side and to stop this fascist movement from happening. If not, we're screwed. America's no longer America, and the class war has just gotten even broader. We need all the voices we can find to help shift public opinion about this, so we can find the support that we need to end this craziness. If you are a Republican and you are not way up here with a bunch of money and you're middle class or even lower class, which I know there's a lot of you that are lower class because you were lied to and you were promised things, and that's why you voted the way that you did, your voice is the one that needs to be heard right now. I hate Elon Musk, but when he got on television and spoke against the tariffs, especially, just the ones in Europe, because he wanted a free market with Europe. That was a great example of somebody that, even though I don't agree with their politics and I don't agree with what they're doing, it was one time when he decided to speak against and try to make a difference because he didn't like what was going on. And it was only for his own self-interest. Understand that. But I'm just saying, this is what politicians and businessmen do. They flip-flop depending on where their money is going to have its best interest at. You know what I mean? So, where your best interest lies, and it's not with the Republican Party. It might be with the old Republican Party, but not with MAGA. They're destroying our country. I just proved it by the bills that were passed, and you can go look at these bills yourself. This is what's happening. And this is the response. They just left. They just left the chambers like it was nothing. We fucked over the country, fucked over the poor people, the lower class. Now we're gone. Watch this.
There are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the Speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs of the American people. WTF? Who's in charge?